Yeah, and DirectX. I used to think that DirectX was like this cool function library that had all these cool functions in it, like for circles and boxes, and but then taking that concept to 3D, so where you can draw, like three-dimensional lines and freaking spheres and shit like that, but and deal with textures and all that stuff, which it does do. But really, DirectX is very thin hardware abstraction layer is what it is. It really is only there to act like an interface between the programmer writing, for example, a game or what have you, and the graphics card. Because so many people can have so many different graphics cards on their computer, it used to be, that um, game programmers had to frickin' had to worry about every little possible graphics card that somebody might have in their system. Well, Windows came out and they made, a hardware abstraction layer. So they made it so that, a programmer does not have to worry about a specific graphics card of the system. They just have to worry about understanding the DirectX interface. Okay, the interface will take care of interfacing to the graphics card through the graphics card's driver. So it basically abstracts it to where, I don't care what graphics card you have in your system, DirectX will take care of the interface. So you as a programmer just have to worry about understanding DirectX, not understanding the specific graphic card that might be installed on somebody's system. And DirectX will fill in the holes, when something is missing from your graphics card, but it's a common function. Well, it'll assume it's there and implement that in software quite often. But really, it's pretty boring, because it doesn't do much. There's really no functionality. It's a very low level API, application programming interface. But it's a hardware abstraction layer, so it has its purpose. And I think it's a COM object too. From what Chili was talking about, it sounds like it's a COM object. But the fact of the matter is, though, is that the same thing could be said for other HALs, hardware abstraction layers. For like a modem, you don't have to worry about what modem manufacturer you'd have if you have a modem in your computer still for some reason, or what kind of Ethernet card you may have, or sound card or whatever. There's a HAL for each of those, that abstracts that stuff, and that includes things like mice too to some extent, and although those tend to be a standard physical interface. Um, but hell, even keyboards can have different functions and so forth associated with them. But the point is that things like that tend to be standardized through BIOS though. But the fact of the matter is though that when it comes to some of that hardware, like what CD-ROM you have in your computer or what exact manufacturer of hard drive you have, there can be, again that's handled by BIOS too. But the fact of the matter is that from Windows standpoint, they're still going to have an HAL layer for stuff like that too, I think. So, but it's just, that way as a programmer, you don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about, the API, the HAL and interfacing to that. Now, that's not doesn't mean it's easier. It's not. It's you can interface to a graphics card just as easily as you can DirectX, pretty much, if you know the ins and outs of it, through its driver. But the fact of the matter is that you don't have to. You just have to learn DirectX, and then you know how to interface to all graphics cards that are on a PC. So a Windows PC anyway. But that's why I'm also again not interested, like I was talking about in the last video. Interested in it that much anymore because I thought it was like something that was going to be a cool area of functions. I didn't expect to have to learn all this gobbledygook, about how to interface to the fucking API, DirectX, and that it doesn't really do that much. So, although it does have some powerful routines in it that may make it worth looking at to some extent, especially some of its vector math functions and stuff like that, as part of the API developers kit or whatnot. So, you know, um, I don't know. It's kind of cool, but I still don't know if it's, from my perspective, it's not really worth looking at. But anyway,